how do we get the hair to grow back? That's a really funny question, because it's like we would have to think that we're magicians, right? And we wave our little wands and all of a sudden the hair grows back. I think that there's just such a misconception in the industry, a misunderstanding of brow hair, of, how to look at a brow, lighting, positioning, knowledge on what hair to leave. The best way to explain this to you is, there are times in masterclasses where I'm working with students that really haven't done much of the TRUEBROW system, and they come to a masterclass. It's not recommended, but it can happen, and it has happened in the past. And so, for example, I might say to that person, you work on this brow. And one that comes to my mind was one girl that was working on a brow that we call a 90s brow. And I said, what would you do? Where would you remove the hair? What hair would you keep? And it was just extraordinary to me that she just went and was about to remove all the hair that I would keep, all the hair that I would be nurturing and throughout, 2, 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even 12 months, to get that brow back to its full natural state. The amazing thing is that this particular model that came to us was a dear friend of hers, and now has her full brow back. So the brow hair, a lot of the time, it's about understanding what not to do, rather than saying, well, how do you get the hair to grow back? So if I was to come into your salon and work on brows where you would say, oh yeah, this client's brow doesn't grow back, and I was to work consistently in your salon for, say, 3 months, 2 months, 6 months, I would say that probably 92% of the clients that you are telling right now that their brows can't grow back, I would be able to get some level of increase in their brow fullness, and I'd make their brows absolutely beautiful. And that's because I have the knowledge. I understand the principles. I understand what to leave, what not to leave. I know where to look for hair. I know how to look for hair. I would never remove a hair that I know I'm going to need, and I certainly would remove hair that I don't need, because this is not just about using tint on vellus hair, for example. It's not just about using the hair on top of the brow and dismissing the hair at the bottom of the brow. It's not about using the hair at the bottom of the brow and dismissing the hair above. It's a complete system of understanding. It's like actually having a textbook this thick on how to create the world's most beautiful brows, and learning that textbook and understanding exactly how to do it. So it's knowledge, and some people in the industry have a lot of issue with that. They simply can't get past the idea in their own mind that, well, what about when the hair doesn't grow back? Well, what about the 92%, over 90%, let's say, let's just even go lower than that, of times that the brow does grow back, but it's being removed or it's being compromised over and over, and these poor women are leaving salons believing their brows have to be thin and that their only option is to have a tattoo, which inevitably has so many repercussions and consequences to it, which we're seeing in the industry now. So when that question is asked to me, you have to be a believer. You have to look at the before and afters, and you have to acknowledge, if you have a level of honesty in you, that goodness me, this brow actually has restored. This brow is coming back. If this brow came into my salon, I probably would say it's not going to grow back. If you look at the brows on TRUEBROW, for example, that are featured, and you would look at a brow, and if it came into your salon, you would say to yourself, yeah, that brow won't grow back. And we've actually had it grow back. That should be enough. That should be enough to show you that there's some massive gap in your knowledge and your understanding, that as a therapist with integrity and a therapist that wants the best for her clients, you absolutely can't deny that you have to know that knowledge, and you have to know how to give your clients the beauty that they're coming to you for. So that question of, how do you get the brow hair to grow back? We don't use serums, because why don't we do that? It's a quick fix that sometimes doesn't even work, and if it does work, the minute that they stop using the product, the brow hair will just fall out. It's a temporary fix. So we don't do temporary fixes at TRUEBROW. We don't teach our students, get them to invest their money and their time in something that is temporary. We give them a skill that they have for the rest of their lives, that with the ones that stay with us, the ones that continue to master this education, just keep learning and never go back to where they were before. They never default back to doing brows the way they did, because they're constantly moving forward, learning, growing. I mean, it's phenomenal, and they just improve all the time. So then any brow that walks in, even if they feel that they don't know whether it will grow back or not, they have their live classes to jump on and put the brow up and say, you know what do you think? They ask someone that's been doing it for 6 years, 17 years, and they get a professional opinion, which is just profound and so supportive. So that's the best that I can do with answering that question.